Thruster systems can add a level of confidence around the dock simply not possible with screws and rudders alone. This is a Sideshift ST350 stern thruster kit. It is a 24-volt, 7.5 horsepower thruster capable of controlling powerboats up to 60 feet in length, weighing up to 30 tons. And this is Chris Keene, proud owner of a gorgeous Sea Ray 400 sedan. Chris installed a Sideshift SS350 bow thruster last year and has now decided to add an ST350 stern thruster for even more control.
So the things I love about this kit, it literally comes with everything. You don't have to go running into the store trying to get your Sikaflex. You don't have to worry about getting the paste. It gives you the crimp tool. Everything. The switches, the breaker systems, the remotes, the swag, literally everything you ask for is right here in the package. Instructions anybody can read and follow. As complete as you can get. Best tech support if you've got a problem, who to call, even a thank you from the guy who packaged it for you. Like, has anybody ever seen this kind of thing before? It's just awesome. Take everything out of the box, spread it out, look at it, check the instructions. It's going to tell you exactly how to do it step by step. This is our second install. We did the bow thruster last year. So impressed when I unboxed it. I got it in the wintertime. It came right around Christmas because they had put a special on. We brought it home. I was like a kid at Christmas time. I opened it up, I pulled everything out, I spread it all over the floor, and I went, wow, I can't wait to put this thing in. And they had every little thing. Like I said, there's little tubes of, in the other kit, there was Loctite, there was epoxies, everything. Stuff you can't just walk into a store and buy, and you don't know you need it until you need it. The only thing that doesn't come in this kit is batteries and cable. They don't know what boat you're putting it on when you buy it. You might need 0-aught, you might need 40 feet of it, you might need 4 gauge, you might need 20 feet of it. It depends on the boat. Our initial thought was we're going to do a standard transom install. Bracket goes on here, thruster comes down. We got this, some of our stanchions are in the way from our custom swim platform. We determined behind here we have our 200-gallon water tank. We have 0 access. Becomes a bit of a problem. Called into Sideshift, talked to Pat, went through a few different options.
Close your eyes.
Measuring, you can see we've got our water lines marked, top of where the prop is, making sure we're below our 5 inches. Got our measuring tape out, started looking. We can see inside the boat where our studs come through, and we've got some area to work with here. Marked it all out, checked it. We've got 4 inches of clearance from the stanchions on the props. We got 3/4 of an inch off of it for a little bit of flex so we don't get that vibration and rattle. Pat says no problem. This is perfect install, totally fine to do. This is the route we're gonna go.
After carefully measuring the location and ensuring the top of the thruster props were more than 5 inches below the waterline, Chris used the backing plate to mark drilling locations. Pro tip: with 2 holes drilled, temporarily secure the backing plate to help align the final 2 holes. With all 4 mounting holes drilled, use the supplied Sikaflex to seal the holes, backing plate, and the transom before bolting the thruster in place.
So we're about to put the Sikaflex on the inside plate. We're going to do that outside the boat because we have no room once we're in there. We're literally climbing in, laying on our bellies. So best practice, I mean, what I do, I just like to go around the bolt hole, little bead around the hole. And remember that this is included in your kit. You don't have to try and run out at the end of the day on Sunday and get yourself a tube of this. And let's go put this on. Okay.
Don't forget to add the supplied anti-seize compound to the bolts before adding the nuts.
When I
finish the silicone is just take my rubber glove and just give it a quick little wipe. Take the excess off. Bottom paint doesn't stick to this stuff, so it's got to kind of be out of the way.
With the thruster mounted, it is time to drill the holes for the cables. Choose a location for the cables to pass through the hull that is above the highest waterline and convenient to the thruster. You will need one hole for each cable. Double check the entry point on the hull that it will not interfere with any objects on the inside of the boat.
I dry test fit first, make sure I've got enough space, make sure it's going to go through smooth without fighting. And then I pull it back and I put my Sikaflex in after.
Once dry fitted, pull the cable out a few inches and spread Sikaflex on them and in the holes to ensure a proper seal. With the cables sealed, tie them off and secure with the provided tie wrap. It's worth spending a little time pushing the Sikaflex in and around the holes. With the thruster mounted and cable secured, it is time to measure power cables for a run to the batteries. Please note, it is important to have high cranking amp starter type batteries, not deep cycle AGMs. They should have at least 850 cold cranking amps. Pro tip, since this ST350 is a 24 volt system, we will connect two 12 volt batteries in series to get 24 volts. This tends to be less expensive than trying to source 24 volt batteries.
So we're putting yellow tape on this one line, which is our bridge, because it tells anybody with the yellow that this is a bind, not a parallel.
At this point, it is time to connect the battery bank to the battery switch, fuse, voltage indicator, and motor controller. The instruction manual has a clear schematic starting on page 44 for correct connections. Pro tip, securing each part to a piece of marine plywood allows flexible mounting of them as a unit. Once mounted, measure and cut the appropriate length cables. For this ST350, Sideshift recommends 2/0 cables. Then crimp on the appropriate tinned lug, ensuring it is secure. Not to worry if you don't have a fancy crimper. Sideshift supplies a crimping tool in the kit.
That's not going nowhere.
Be sure that they are neatly routed and comfortably reach the motor controller terminals. Leave some slack to make installation a bit easier. Connect one white thruster cable to M1 and the other to M2 on the motor controller solenoid. The first positive cable runs from the fuse to the motor controller. Attach the bare end of the positive battery cable directly to the fuse voltage indicator. Attach the other end with a crimped lug to the positive terminal on the motor controller. The second positive cable runs from the fuse to the battery. Don't forget to add the supplied terminal protectors, which help protect battery terminals from moisture and prevent shorts. The battery disconnect switch is connected via the negative battery terminal. Run one negative cable from the battery to the switch, and the other from the switch to the common ground terminal on the motor controller. At this point, you can also attach both ground wires from the wireless receiver harness and voltmeter on top of the negative battery cable. Attach the voltmeter cover and you are ready to mount and connect the wireless receiver. The wireless receiver is quite straightforward to connect. The red, green, and blue wires with female spade terminals plug directly into the motor controller. The other end of the fuse lead gets connected directly to the battery. Make note, for 24 volt systems, you must connect the small 10 amp fuse wire to battery number 1 to ensure it's supplied only 12 volts. If everything is connected correctly, you will see 24 to 25 volts on the voltmeter and the receiver will be flashing once every 2 seconds. If you don't have any spare leads on your battery charger, you will need to install a dedicated charger.
Just a chunk of marine starboard. Makes an excellent mount for the charger. We're just going to set that guy up under here.
But you don't need to purchase an expensive 24 volt charger. A 2-bank 12-volt charger like the Sunoco Genius will work as long as you connect each battery to a separate charging bank. Just make sure it's an ignition-protected charger if installing in the engine compartment. And just like that, we are basically hooked up. All that is left is to swap out the single joystick for a dual thruster model and then check the thruster direction.
My favorite part, doing the dash. I measured, checked, and it fit perfectly like it was designed to be in this boat. And the replacement one is going to go in the exact same hole. And we're going from the single to the double, right there at my throttles, wheel, throttles, bang, it doesn't interfere, perfect. So we're gonna swap this baby out and try not to scratch my gel. I did put a small bead of silicone on this. Hear it peeling away nicely. How lucky is that? When you look at the two of them, they are the same plug and they fit in the exact same hole. Okay, moment of truth. Powered on. I don't know if you can hear that in audio, but that's a stern thruster. All right. All that's left now is to pair the bow thruster we put on last year, and in the manual you'll see you have to disconnect the main module, connect it back up. You have 2 minutes to come back up to pair. Watch, we'll show you how that's done. All right, as per the instructions, hold the toggle to the right, power on, it is on, let the toggle go. Well, we finally got it all installed, hooked up, ready to go. We're just gonna check our direction now and make sure we're clear, everything's good. We got really good distance away from the stanchions. Keep your fingers away, obviously, but perfect. You can feel the power. You know that this boat is gonna dance with that thruster pushing away.